And we are live. What is up, everyone? Welcome to my live stream. My name is Tyler. I am your host for this evening, and do want to let you know I am live right now on 3 different platforms. You're welcome to join on whichever platform works best for you. I am live right now on YouTube, on LinkedIn, as well as on Twitch. And what we are going to attempt in this stream is to finish what I started a few days ago. We started the CI/CD and build security network on TryHackMe. Now, I had some issues yesterday because the downside of a network is it's a shared network with other users. And the downside, or maybe the plus side if you're a pen tester, is the way a lot of this stuff works is it's RCE by design, which just means it takes one user to make one wrong command that can break one of the hosts for everybody else. So earlier today, I jumped to a different subnet, and this subnet had one more reset vote, so I resetted it. This was just a few hours ago. I'm hoping the network is still good to go, and we are going to dive in kind of where we left off yesterday. Actually, yesterday, I'm going to have to splice some videos together. So if you're watching this and it seemed like there was a weird jump, at least when you're watching it after the fact, that's what I ended up doing. So I'm going to splice a video from yesterday and this video together to hopefully have one video that goes through tasks 7 through 11. If you missed the first video, I have one video that go through tasks 1 through 6. So this will be 7 through 11. And actually, I'm just going to stop recording for now. We'll just stream live as I do the initial setup because like I said, I'm going to connect these recordings together, do some editing magic so I can have one video that covers the entire thing if it works. And I also haven't even done the full thing myself, so I might just get stuck as we work our way through it, but we will do our best. Let me get chat pulled up in all the different areas. All right, I got all the chat pulled up. Should be good to go. So a few things we have to do as we get started though. So I will share my screen. So the first thing we need to do to get started is add some stuff to our Etsy host. So we're on the 59.150. It seems like I'm on 2 different subnets. What? Hold up. Maybe that's just how it is. It's 59.150 and 30.160. That shouldn't be like that. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm just confusing myself. That's probably fine. We'll let's just test it out actually before I even do this. If this doesn't work, I'm just gonna pick something else and we'll live stream something else, but want to see if we can do this first. So here we go. Let's pull this up and we'll see if we can at least ping it. So 59.50, ping 10.200.59.150. Did I do it wrong? Nope. Man, I look out on this just constantly. Oh, it's responding now. Okay. Let's see if we can do the other one. 3.1, that's on a different subnet. I don't think this is gonna work. Do you think that's supposed to be 59 and the diagram's wrong? Like, I'm just striking out on this network. Oh! The diagram is wrong. It has to be. It wouldn't make any sense why that's a .3. It should be a .59. Alright, we're just gonna roll with it. Let's see what happens. Oh man, Nano Etsy host. So we're on 10.200.59.150 is going to be gitlab.tryhackme.loc, and then 10.200.59.160 is going to be jenkins.tryhackme.loc. No, it shouldn't have 2 nicks, although I see what you're saying. This one won't have 2 nicks. Like, this is different than all the other diagrams. I can't even hit that. I can't hit the .3 subnet. Look at this. Ping 10.200.3.160, I think is what it is. It won't even go through. Like, the diagram's legit wrong. See that? Now watch. If we change it to the right subnet, we get a response. So, legit, the diagram itself is inaccurate. Crazy. All right, oh well. At least the network works. Like, I can work with that, right? That's not that big of a deal. So 59, 150, and 59, ignore the 3, 160. And where we were able to get through successfully yesterday, we finished all of task 6. I actually think I did that in the first one. Yeah, my first video is task 1 through 6. And in the video yesterday, we successfully did task 7 as well. And if you missed it, just know the video will be coming out. But on task 7, I showed how to exploit Jenkins in 2 ways. We did it one with Metasploit, and I also did it the manual way. So I showed it in both ways. And here's the part I'm going to splice is as we work through task 8. So now we're going to make some of the magic of recording happen. So here we go. I'm going to start recording and we're going to pick up where we go. All right, and now we're going to dive into task 8, at least attempt task 8 again, and we will see where we get to. So let's just dive on in, read through this content, and see if we can figure out what we are doing. I'll zoom in for you all so you can see it a little bit better. Here we go. With our build server secure, we will take a look at the pipeline itself next. Even if we do everything correctly, we still have to consider that one of our developers may be compromised. Whether the actual developer is compromised through a social engineering attack or simply their credentials being exposed, this compromise could be the downfall of our pipeline and build. Fortunately, there are protections that can be applied. Access gates. Access gates, also known as gates or checkpoints, serve as stages within a software development pipeline. They ensure that code progresses through the pipeline only after meeting predefined quality and security criteria. Access gates are crucial in enhancing the development process's control, quality assurance, and security is beneficial for everyone. So enhanced control. Access gates provide checkpoints in the pipeline, allowing controlled progression to different stages. Quality control. Gates ensure that code meets predefined quality standards before advancing, and security checks. Gates enable security assessments such as vulnerability scans before deployment. So implementation steps, going to go through this quickly, right? Manual approvals, require manual approving before moving to the next stage. Automated tests, so automated testing gates for code quality. Security scans, already talked about that a little bit. Release gates to verify proper docs, versioning, and compliance. Environment validation, validate the target environment's readiness. A rollback plan for a well-defined rollback plan in case something breaks. Monitoring, implement monitoring gates to assess post-deployment performance. Parallel gates, run gates in parallel to expedite the pipeline. And finally, auditing, regularly review gate configurations and results to ensure effectiveness. So the two-person concept. Even if we have access gates, we need to ensure that no single user can pass these access gates. If you are the developer who initiated the build, you should be prevented from passing the next access gate. This should always be someone else. By enforcing this with the technical control, it can be assured that in the event that a developer is compromised, a build cannot be pushed through. This is referred to as the two-person rule. Some build servers may not allow you to ensure control on the access gate to ensure that it is a different person. A good workaround in these cases is to simply increase the count of approvals needed from 1 to 2. This way, the dev provides one approval, but a secondary person has to provide the other. So exploiting misconfigured access gates. Let's take a look at an example where access gates have been misconfigured. In this example, we will provide you with access as the Anna user. You will use this user for all exercises going forward. You can use the following details to authenticate to GitLab as Anna. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll copy this link, switch back over to our attack box, and let me get this to stay. If we go here, preferences, behavior, no, don't hide. I hate trying to get the pop-up on the side there. Open up Firefox. Open up Firefox. There we go. What up, Bottleneck? Get it heavy here over on Twitch, my friend. Make sure I'm not missing anyone on LinkedIn. Not okay. Cool, here we go. So let's go ahead and connect as Anna. I already forgot her credentials. So on attacker and password 1. Jeez. Anna attacker password 1 @. Okay, so here we are on the approval test. Just if I can jump over to here. Okay, so Ash has provided Anna with developer access to his approval test repo, which can be found here. That's where we're at right now. To protect the main branch of the repo, Ash has configured the main branch to be a protected branch, where developers are only allowed to make merge requests and no direct code changes. Let's test this by updating the README file and trying to commit the change to the main branch. Navigate to the README file and click Edit. So we'll go ahead and do that. README file, edit. Edit single file. Well, let's add an extra T, something really simple here. Commit changes. Blah, blah, blah. Commit merge request. And so I can approve it myself. Now it says it failed, but that's actually because of something in the code itself, not because of anything with the approval process. I can actually show that to you. So if we go over to jobs here and click the job, you can see this. It's failing on Python translator.py because of that Python script, but it is pushing it to production. As you can see, GitLab is automatically requesting that we start a merge request, blah, blah. You can see that we cannot unselect the option to commit directly and make a small change, and we did that. Immediately, you will see that we have to make a merge request for our change. Add a description, which we did. Ash's thought process behind this is that it would protect the main branch, as a company has a policy that states merge requests must be approved, right? Policies that aren't enforced are just suggestions. Since we are now forced to make a merge request, the main branch is protected. However, Ash has made the following two errors in his security thought process. One, policies that are not enforced through a technology will not be respected by attackers. Sure, the policy says that a manager... Whoa! Where was I at? Scroll up here. There we go. A policy says that a manager must approve the merge request, but if you read the merge request, you will see that from a technical standpoint, GitLab indicates that the approval is optional. And two, although the main branch is protected by not allowing any direct pushes, since developers can still make merge requests, they can simply push their own merge request to commit code to the main branch. The two-person principle was not implemented to ensure that another person has to accept the merge request, which we talked about. So we can do our own thing. Reviewing the code, you have made a change, and now comes the fun part. The GitLab runner was configured to only run on the main branch. Since we can now push code to the main branch, we can compromise the runner. Now that you know how to get code to the main branch, make some changes, do that. And so I'll show you how to get a shell quite easily. We'll keep reading, but I'll come back to that and show you how to get a shell. So how do you protect it? Well, one, you want to limit branch access. That, of course, is pretty obvious. You want to review a merge request, so enforce merge requests or pull requests. Don't just have it as a policy. Make sure it's a technical control. Use CI/CD variables. Don't store sensitive information directly in the file. Instead, use variables to store secrets. Limit runner access. Only allow trusted runners to execute the jobs. And access control and permissions. Review and configure project level and group level access controls and permissions. It's always good to review and ensure you have the least privilege. That's key. The principle of least privilege should always be applied across the board. Regular audits, right? Check if what you think is happening is actually happening. And finally, monitor and alert. Set up monitoring and alerting for your pipeline, blah, 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 blah. As you can see, I've already done this task because I wanted to test everything before jumping on stream to make sure I wasn't going to run any weird issues. But let me show you how to do this. How do we get a reverse shell? So let's go back to our attack box here. And if we go back to the project overview, what we have here really is RCE by design. By editing this GitLab YAML file, we can actually get it to execute system commands by design. You can see that right here. It's doing an echo command, and then it's trying to run this Python translator where it's actually failing. But what we can do is if we go ahead and edit this file, do that, and we can just go ahead and Google bash reverse shell. And we'll do bash TCP. Over on YouTube, someone had a question. Do you think A+, Network+, and Sec+ are good for someone starting off? Yeah, it's a CompTIA trifecta. Those are the first certs I got. So absolutely, that's a good place to start. But let's go ahead and grab our bash shell right here. And we will drop it in there. And of course, we need to replace this with our IP. So we'll pull up our terminal. IPA. It's not this IP up here. If you follow along the attack box, you actually have to get the IP from the correct network interface for the CI/CD network. So we'll go ahead and grab that. And we will drop it in there. And let's do 1337 because, you know, we're elite. Start our listener right there. And then from here, we should be able to commit this and then create a merge request. And it will fire off and it should give us a reverse shell. Shell, please. Create merge request. We'll just approve it ourselves. It's already deploying to production though. If we pull this up, you can see we have, who am I? So we have compromised this host. Now, if you're following along yourself, there's another step I'm not going to show you because you should read the task to understand how to do this. But at this point, you authenticate to something called mother, which is just a way in order to see, to submit flags essentially, to get the final flag. So you authenticate to this mother server, which is explained in the previous task of this room. You say, hey, I've compromised this host right here, the GitLab runner, and then you'll go over to the flag directory. And what you'll do in the flag directory is you'll echo some data that the mother tells you to echo, and you'll use your TryHackMe username, and then you tell the mother capital Y for yes. I demonstrated that in the first video of the series, so I'm not going to go through that process, but that is how we do that. Now, if we go back to the room, we have some questions here. Like I said, I already did these. So what can we add so that merges are raised for review instead of pushing the changes of code directly? Well, that's merge request, and it's right here. That's where we get that answer from. The next one is, what should we do so that only trusted runners execute CI/CD jobs? Well, limit runner access, and that's explained right there. And then authenticate to mother, I explained how to do that, and that's how you get that third flag. All right, securing the build environment. Our pipeline is secure. We are almost there. 2 more steps to go. Next on the list is making sure that our environments are secure. The last point where a threat actor may attempt to compromise our build is at the point where we deploy the build to its environment. So environment segregation. A key security principle in our pipeline is to ensure that our different environments are segregated. Environments are not created equal, especially in these modern times where agile principles are used. Developers are often provided with quite a lot of access and abilities in environments other than production and pre-production. If you need a refresher on the different types of environments, take a look at this room. With these additional permissions, we need to make sure that there's adequate segregation between the various environments. And yo, what up, Eldrick and Kevin, Teraflops over on YouTube? Good to have you all here. At first glance, you may think that this is a simple endeavor. All we need to do is to ensure that developers do not have access to these sensitive environments. However, with the introduction of pipelines, this becomes a tad bit more complex. Even if we restrict direct access to these environments, there may be side channels in the pipeline that can be exploited. In this task, we'll take a look at one common misconfiguration when the build agents themselves are not segregated. One build agent to rule them all. In our next example, Ash has learned from his mistakes and made sure to only provide Anna with access to the development branch. Main is now fully restricted. We still have access to the dev branch since Ash wants his devs to adopt an agile development process. Luckily for us, the dev branch does have a GitLab runner attached to it. Navigate to this to get started. So let's go ahead and copy this link and paste it in. So here we are in our environments. Navigate to the operate environment section. Operate, environments. So those are our 2 environments. We have production and we have staging. Let's take a closer look at the last build that was performed for production. Click on the build and select the pipeline tab to see the build that was executed for production. All right, so production. Is this the build that we're supposed to click on, I assume? Click pipelines. And then maybe the job itself. Jobs. Don't know if I'm doing this right. I think this is it, but we're supposed to see a runner. This is actually what I was confused. So this is like my 4th time doing this, y'all, this specific part, and I'm confused every single time. I mean, I understand the core vulnerability, but I never see what I'm supposed to see. Like, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we can do all this, investigate the pipeline, and look at one of the jobs executed for the main pipeline. I do that, right? Maybe it's because it's not main. Here's a main job. All right, let's try it on the main job. See, you guys see up here? There's no runner. It doesn't give me runner information. I mean, I see the runner here. We have runner information right there on that runner agent. But I don't see this. I have everything else but the runner. And I don't know why. It's always like that. But we do see the runner agent there. So maybe we can use that. All right, as we can see, runner number 6 is used for the build. Following the steps in the previous task in the dev branch, make a small change to the README file and observe which runner is being used for the job. So if we go back to environments. Oh wait, following the steps in the previous task in the dev branch, make a small change. So by dev branch, do I need to go to operate? Again, environments. Do they just mean here, like update one of these? Because I don't have... Okay, let's go here. Let's go to staging, I guess. Thought I heard something. Well, I don't think we can actually push out. So let me go to project overview and let's edit this README. And then we'll look at the build. But like I said, each time I've done this, I've been confused. So if you're confused, welcome to the boat. This is the part that's very confusing for me. Like, I apparently just need to keep doing this part on stream, every single stream, until it makes sense to me. But we'll go ahead and commit changes here. Update README. That all looks good. Blah, blah. Create merge request. All right, and now pipeline that past that. So let's go ahead and click this to look at the job. Okay, we can deploy it to production. What up, Randy? Good to have you here, my friend. Okay, so now I see the runner here, but like I said, it's not the same runner. This is the part that's very confusing to me. We're just going to move on, though. I'll let you figure it out, those of you smarter than me. As we can see, runner number 6 is used for the build. I see runner number 8, but we'll go with it. And mine says runner, environments runner, and this one says runner agent. So I'm clearly doing something wrong, but whatever. We're going to keep moving and YOLO. Protecting the build environment. Well, here let me point out the primary issue. So Ash is trying to save some budget by having a single runner for the project. That's what we're supposed to see. I just don't see that. So I have to take the room's word for it because I don't understand exactly how to discover that information. But that's the issue. It's responsible for dev and prod builds. Therefore, if we can compromise a runner through our dev access, we can intercept a production build. If the same runner is being used for both builds, even if we're restricted to dev, we'll compromise that one and we can pivot into dev and prod. And that's what it's talking about. So how do we protect it? Which we'll do in just a second. Maybe we'll do, as long as it works. Protecting the build environment. Protecting the build environment is crucial to prevent compromising your production pipeline through a single runner shared between dev and prod. So isolate environments. Fully isolate your dev and prod pipelines as much as possible. Use separate runners or runner tags for dev and prod builds, ensuring that any compromise in the dev environment does not directly impact prod. This way, you can't compromise prod in the way shown in this task. Restrict access for CI/CD jobs. Limit access to the runner host. Only authorized personnel should have access to the machines running the GitLab runner, because once again, this is RCE by design. And monitoring alerting. Implementing monitoring alerting for your CI/CD pipeline and runner. Set up alerts for sus activity and failed builds, which could indicate a compromise. All right. So let's go ahead and work our way through this. What should you do so that a compromised environment doesn't affect other environments? Well, we should isolate them. And now we need to go ahead and do this part, which I know even looking at Discord, this is the most confusing part for many people. Even once you get a shell, a lot of people have issues pivoting to dev and prod. So if we actually look at this, here's what we're trying to compromise. This right here. This is the runner. And notice that this runner, O2, is being shared between dev and prod. If this is set up properly, dev should have a runner and prod should have its own runner. That's what it means by having isolated environments. So we're going to try to compromise this runner. And if we can, we should be able to pivot to both those environments and get the fourth and fifth flags. All right, that's how it works in theory. Let's go ahead and give it a shot. If we drop down here, I want to make sure I am actually looking at the right one. Just go to this link again. So here's our environments. Let's go ahead and go to our GitLab CI YAML file, and we're going to do the same thing with our reverse shell. We will edit a single file. Randy says, is there any teams or noobs in Hack the Box? We are all noobs, my friend. Join the Hack Smarter team. No experience necessary. And then we need to grab our IP again. Copy that. Too big to, I don't know how to say your name over on Twitch. We are going through the CI/CD and build security network on TryHackMe. So it's more than just a box, it's multiple machines. It's the newest network they just released, I think 2 or 3 days ago. Drop our IP in here. We'll change it back to 1337 and we'll set up our listener again. All right, so we're going to compromise the runner and hopefully be able to pivot into the other builds. So that all looks good. We'll click commit changes. Got to ask nicely or else it doesn't work. What up, Tinus? Good to have you here. Just getting to the part that was broken before. I'm going to splice my videos together is kind of how we're doing this. We'll see what happens. You're joining at the exact time that it broke. It broke last stream. Maybe you should leave. Maybe you're bad luck. All right, so it can be manually deployed to production. So our goal, compromise a runner, then pivot into the dev and prod environments. Go ahead and click deploy and cross our fingers. Deploy. Please give me a shell. Please give me a shell. I believe in you. I'm kind of scared to look at my terminal. Oh, no. Come on. It's running. Yes! We have it. All right, let me show you the network diagram. And hey, Amoeba Man, since you're here, let me show you something strange I discovered about my current subnet. Amoeba Man, the diagram's wrong. I don't exactly know how this error happens. I've refreshed it before, but this isn't the right IP. Like, it's giving me a different subnet for Jenkins. I mean, it's easy to fix. It's .59.160, but .3.160 you can't access. I figured that out in the beginning. But here we are, everyone. Just so we understand this a little bit better, because I know it's confusing. Let's move that one over there. We are here. This is us. We're in grunner02. That's the 202. So if we look at our host name here, 202, right? So that's where we're at. And from this machine, we should have permissions to pivot into the dev and the prod machines. Now, if you were doing this on your own and you were stuck here, don't feel bad because you may have been overthinking it just like kind of how I was. It took me just a little bit of time to figure this out. But I was like, man, how do you do this? And I'll show you actually the steps I went through when I was doing this. So if we do LSLA, like here's this. If we go over to home, this is what I did. I noticed, okay, we have 2 accounts. We go to the GitLab runner because that's who we are. LSLA, we have some SSH stuff here. So CD SSH, LSLA. So like, okay, we have an ID RSA key. And so it's likely we can use that key to go into those other machines. So initially what I tried is I tried to do SSH GitLab runner thinking, okay, it's the GitLab runner who pivots to these machines. And so 59.220 at 10.200.59.220. Do I have that right? Right? This is what I initially tried. All right, it doesn't work. Although that's a different error. Geez, I hope those other machines aren't broken. With the host key verification error. Let's find out. Anyways, what I ended up doing is if we do kind of standard CTF, I noticed that the bash history is not going to dev null, so we can actually read bash history. So if we cat bash history, we can look at this, right? The user created the SSH keys, and you can notice here are the dev and the prod environments. And so we're actually SSHing as the Ubuntu user, but using our ID RSA key, which will be automatically applied unless the host key verification fails again, which means someone broke the SSH keys. Stop breaking the SSH keys, my people. Let's try it though. All right, SSH Ubuntu at 10.200, although ours isn't 120, 59.220. This one won't work because that's not the right IP, right? No. I'm cursed. I'm not supposed to do this network. I'm not supposed to finish it. With the host key verification failed, if you're curious what that means, it means that someone screwed up the SSH server. And I can't fix it without access to that server. It's the host key of the remote host. So the actual host key of the dev and prod servers, someone must have modified it. And when they modify it, it breaks it. Yeah, give you my remote IP and my OVPN file. So I'm actually just on the attack box. Here, I'll message you on Discord. Amoeba Man. Hold up. And I'll just edit this part of the video. This video is going to take a lot of editing. 1 second, y'all. One second, y'all. I'm messaging with the Amoeba Man. See if there's a way we can fix this or not. So you guys just have to look for me a little bit while we try to troubleshoot this. So I see if they broke SSH at hard, not sure I can. And so, yeah, is there any way to have like a self-healing process for that? Because this is the third time, maybe the third time I've had this exact issue on the shared networks. Okay, yeah, I'll send you the network diagram too. Although, be warned, remember the network diagram isn't accurate. But let me grab that real quick. Oh, I exit out of the room. Let me jump back into the room and I will grab the network diagram. All right. We'll see what happens. Yo, that's the biggest downside of shared networks. One person breaks it, it ruins it for everybody. Maybe you just need to finish room and release videos. I know teraflops, but I can't finish it, and I hate leaving stuff halfway finished. What? SSH works for him. Maybe. Really? All right. Maybe I shouldn't be using the attack box. It's the only thing I can think of. I've been trying to do this network from the attack box because I know that's more accessible for some people for the guided rooms. But maybe I should just go back to my own VM. Okay, he's testing it right now from the GRunner 02, which is what I was on. But he says the backdoor access works. I apparently just need backdoor access. YN, I'll answer your question. What's the difference between Ubuntu versus Kali Linux? You know, there's really not a big difference. Kali is preloaded with some security tools, but you'll notice they're all Linux, right? They're just different flavors. So even like the attack box itself is Ubuntu, but with tools loaded onto it. Oh, wow. So he says it's my actual shell having the issue. Okay. So maybe I just need to get a better shell. Sorry, I'm looking at messages. Yeah, I'll eventually go back to share my screen. And then for the final video, I'll just do some editing magic. Just see if I stabilize my shell, if that works. Oh yeah, that's a good idea, Moo Man. Okay, I'm gonna try this, and then I'm gonna redo the whole process to show people how to do it. Let's see. All right, so here's what we're gonna do, y'all. And hopefully this helps. Hopefully this helps someone in the future. I will share my screen. I'm trying to think of how the editing is gonna work on here. Okay, and we are back, and the issue that I was having is this, right? I'm getting host key verification failed when I'm trying to SSH as the Ubuntu user. And after troubleshooting, I should say after having Amoeba Man troubleshoot it, we realized it's probably because my shell isn't fully interactive, isn't a fully stable shell. So what we're gonna try to do is to fully compromise this machine by, if we go over to LSLA, SSH, we should be able to add our public key to the idrsa.pub. We'll add our public key to that, and then we might be able to actually SSH into the machine to get a more stable shell. And then from there, we can SSH into the dev and prod builds to hopefully fully compromise them. So let's see what happens. If we go over to our attack box here, I believe it's SSH keygen. And yep, that's totally fine. No passphrase. Nope. Yep. Okay, cool. LSLA, SSH. And here we go. Oh yeah, authorized keys is what I need to create. Thanks for correcting me there, Amoeba Man. So here we go. We have our private key right here. We have our public key. So we need to create an authorized key file on here. We can do it with touch authorized keys. And then we will echo our public key into the authorized keys. So let's go in cat id rsa.pub. Here we go. And we'll copy that out. And we should be able to just do this. Echo that into our authorized keys that we just created. At least I thought I created it. Oh yeah, I did. It was up there. All right. All right, cat authorized keys. There we go. So now our authorized key is there. So now everyone cross your fingers if we can SSH GitLab runner at whatever that IP is, 59.202. Boom. Okay, now we have a fully interactive shell on it. So now we should be able to pivot into the dev and prod environments. Let's go ahead and check. We will SSH as Ubuntu at 10.200.59.220, I think. .220. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on track. A shout out to the one and only Amoeba Man for not only creating the network, but helping my Newbery and allowing us to get a stable shell. I could have swore when I originally did this, I did it with my very basic shell that was there and it worked without any issues, but I must not have. I must have done something different and didn't even realize it. Now I'm thinking that I wonder if I used like a Python shell and that was more stable for some reason instead of like your very simple bash reverse shell. But here we are. Let's go back to the network diagram so we can understand a little bit about what is happening here. So we are on the G-Runner 202, or we were on the 202, and because this has access to the dev environment, we simply use SSH as the Ubuntu user, and now we're on this machine right here. So from there, we can go ahead and demonstrate full compromise by authenticating to the mother, but I'll let you do that. I don't want to give you that final flag. I'll let you do that yourself, but all you have to do is if you follow the steps in, I think it's setting up, which I also demonstrated, or it might not be setting up, might be the patching in one. But I demonstrated this in my first video. So I'm not going to give you all the flags just so you can't harvest the flags off of me. You actually have to go through the process yourself and do this. But we are on this machine, and I will show you the process. It'll have you go to CD flag, and then you'll echo whatever the mother tells you to echo into the name of your TryHackMe user, and then you'll go ahead and verify. But once again, read the beginning of the room to get the full context and how to do that, and you'll be able to get the flag right there. Now, if we exit out of here, that is the dev machine. We also want to SSH into the prod machine, which is 230, and that's super easy. We can just change that to 230. Yes. And there we go. Same exact thing. We are now on the prod machine, and we can get that fifth and final flag. So let's go back to the room. That is task 9. So those are the flags. Like I said, I got those flags, then I cleared the room, but I'm not going to show those flags on stream because I think it's too easy for people to copy the flags out and not do the work themselves. So go through the work yourself, struggle through it on your own, do the cool SSH stuff, and then you're able to get those final flags. Now let's go to task 10. I have not even attempted task 10 yet, so this is going to be me stumbling through it live. We will see how we do. We can see the finish line in front of us. Yes, our pipeline and build are almost secure. I'll zoom in for you all. One final step remains, making sure that our build secrets are adequately protected. One secret to rule them all. Larry has now finally learned his lesson and made sure to implement segregated runners for the different environments. But there is one more issue. While these pipelines may be segregated, we need to make sure that the secrets, or variables as they are known in GitLab, are also segregated. If the scope for secrets is not narrowly defined, we can request the use of prod secrets in our dev build, allowing us to compromise our production environment one last time. Navigate to the last repo we use for this exploit. All right, let's do it. Which I'm already basically there. Yeah, Eldritch is right. Got to put in the work to get the knowledge, right? Put in the stumbling to get the knowledge. If we take a look at the environments and latest builds for them as we've done, okay, let's go ahead and do that. So I think, is it Is it build? Pipelines, maybe? Thank you, YN. I appreciate the kind words. So here's our one that's still running. It's still running probably because we have that reverse shell. We might have to kill this because this may stop any other future jobs from running, but we'll figure that out. If we go ahead and look at this, though, maybe we should look at one of these as well. And I think if we go to pipelines, it's probably a much faster way to do this, but pipelines, we'll click this one, go to jobs, and we'll check out both of these. All right, so we can see the output. So this one you can't see it, and the reason it's still hanging is, remember, that's how a reverse shell works. I am still technically connected to that, so we just need to kill that, which I can probably do right now. And then look at that. Whoops. As soon as I killed my reverse shell, you notice that it allowed it to keep going. And so if we look at this, what's it doing? We have a reverse shell that we added. Then it's deploying to CI environment name. And then it's echoing the API key to temp key. And it's saying ready to use the API key. We'll look at another one. Oh, that's just like a test one. Okay, let's go back to the room. We can see the build is making use of an API key variable, right? That's kind of what we just saw. As Anna, we don't have permissions required to list the different variables, but taking a look at the dev branches CI file, we can see that our dev variable is different. All right, let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to get all these confused. Let me close out these extra ones, and then we'll look at that. Oh, am I looking at the wrong thing? Hold up. Let's go to... Mine's not different. Am I in the wrong thing? Mine shows the actual API key. Do I need to go to operate first? Environments? Oh, there's the API dev key. Okay. And there's production. And production is the API key. So we need to go to staging. I think I was looking at the wrong branch there. Here we go. Now if we go to here, now we see the API dev key compared to what's in production, which is the API key. I see what we're doing here. In our case, the value is API key dev. Let's make a change to this variable and also echo out the value to see if we can access the prod variable. To see if we can access the prod variable, make the change to CI file in the dev branch and see what happens. Oh, go to the extra source code and go to the different branches, switch from main to dev. I got you. Let's do that. Right, active. Here's dev. Here's the dev one. Oh, wait. Oh, I went to the wrong dev one. I'm pretty sure. I think it's the other dev thing that I saw. It must be this one. That's the one with that same key, right? Okay, so there is the main branch, and you can see it's using API key. And here is our dev branch using API key dev. I think I'm understanding it a little bit here. Oh, you think so? I might have already changed it. Gotcha. That might be the other confusing part. All right, in our case, the value is API key dev. Let's make a change to this variable and also echo out the value to see if we can access the prod variable. Make the change to the CI file in our dev branch and see what happens. Okay, so can I just literally echo it out? Right? Can I do this? And then just look at the job output. Oh, maybe I can't just echo the key out. Looking over at YouTube, Crimson said, unrelated question. When do you try to manually guess default passwords? Doing a rather basic lab and got stuck, looked up the official walkthrough and it says to just guess it. Like, are you guessing a password or are you attempting the default password? Those are kind of two different things. I've done a lab before where you're supposed to literally just guess the password, which I thought was a little bit silly. But often services, especially like network services, have default passwords. And when you see something like default passwords, there, well, hold up. There, when you see default passwords, or one of the first things you do, so when I do like an external pen test or even an internal pen test, anytime I come across a login service, one of the first things I do is Google like the name of the device and default passwords, and I'll almost always try that first. Don't overthink logins. You're probably not going to stumble across it in an external pen test very often because the environment is usually hardened, but I can say on my last internal pen test, there were quite a few things like network devices that were just set up with default passwords because they just assumed, hey, if it's coming from the internal environment, it's trusted, which it's not. And so then literally I just Googled name of device, default password, and got access in a real internal pen test. So I do it all the time. Anytime I see a login screen, that's one of the first things I do is check default passwords. So get into the habit of doing that. Okay, anyways, here we go. We can just echo the key out, and I think we'll be able to then look at the job, kind of that script console, or that script results we were looking at before, and we might be able to see the API key, maybe. Let's go ahead and commit changes. This stuff that we're doing here would also be helpful on an internal pen test. Probably not going to be exploiting this on an external, but you never know. But maybe an internal, and to be honest, I'm super noob, if you guys can't tell, with this CI/CD build security stuff. Like it's pretty brand new to me. So I feel like how I felt the first time I was learning about Active Directory, just like constantly confused, but things slowly start to make sense as I do it over and over again. And thankfully, I've kind of screwed this up multiple times. And so I've had to do it over and over again. Okay, so your changes have been successfully committed. All right. Can I look at the pipeline now? Right here. And then can I look at the job and see the output? Or is this different? Or do I need to push it? Oh, okay. Well, that's what I thought originally, Amoeba Man, but it was already changed. That's what you were saying. Someone already changed it. That's what confused me because I pulled it up and was like, well, it's already there. I see. Okay, so if you're doing this in the future and it looks like it's already been done, it's because it's already been done. That's what confused me. So let's go back to our project overview. Let's go to branches. And the change is already made to that branch. Whoops. So this dev branch right here, someone already made the change, I believe. That's why I'm confused. Well, it's actually not there at all. So let's go ahead and edit this. This would be the right dev branch, I think. Correct? Yo, these branches, bro. They're confusing. I forgot the name of it. Is it just API key? It's just this, right? All right. Commit changes. I can add a dagger knife. All right, there we go. Dagger. Create merge request. I failed. That's awesome. Why did it fail? Let's figure it out. Oh shoot, I freaking broke the syntax. I'm dumb. How did I break the syntax? Was my syntax wrong? Let's find out. Oh, I didn't break it. Somebody else broke it. Is it right here? No? I don't know what's broken about it. I don't freaking understand. So I think this... Here, let me just try to... Let's grab a different one. I think whoever was maybe modifying this before just broke the YAML, and if I was smart, I could just fix it by looking at it, but let's just take this one. And then we'll just change it to just echo it out. All right, so what if I go like this? Copy. All right, and now we're just gonna do that. And we'll see if this one succeeds. Commit changes. Commit merge request. We're gonna get there eventually, ladies and gentlemen. I believe in us, kind of. Okay, yeah. Go ahead. Sure. YOLO. One of these is going to have the API key. All right, one of these is going to have it. Okay, no, so when we push it. What? Oh, yeah, there we go. Finally. I struggled, bust my way through that one. So it echoed out the API key. Secrets are meant to be kept secret. Don't worry, I went to find the secret anyways. Let's put this flag in, then we'll read about how to fix it. Protecting the build secrets. Protecting build secrets, even when using GitLab CI/CD variables, is crucial for maintaining the security of your pipelines. GitLab CI/CD provides a feature called masked variables to help prevent secrets from being exposed in logs. Here's how you can use this feature. Masking variables. You can mask variables in your GitLab YAML file by using the CI job token predefined variable. This token is automatically set by GitLab and can be used to mask any variable value you want to keep hidden. For example, if you have a variable named mySecretKey, you can use it like this. Echo mySecretKey. This will expose the secret. echo mask CI job token, this will mask the secret. Ah, I see. We could probably go do that. So it's just this mask before it. Let's go do that real quick. Would that work on here? So let's do the, just for my own learning. I know some of you are like, Tyler, just finish the freaking room. I mean, I could, but you don't learn that way. So if we edit the, oh shoot. So now if we echo it out, but we do the masked, is it like this? All right, 1 second. You can try that, but I think they also went for making it a config option as well. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Well, we'll just, this might just fail because it doesn't look like it's properly picking up my command now, but YOLO, let's just see what happens just for the purpose of experimenting. Commit changes. I can't spell the. All right, and we'll go ahead and deploy. Yes. Okay, we'll open up the pipeline. Jobs. Oh no, okay, so I must have probably just done that wrong. Let's check it out. You secure variables. Just keep reading through this. If you want to store secrets securely in GitLab, you can use GitLab CI/CD variables with the mask option enabled. These variables stored securely, never exposed, even if you use them directly in your script. Secure to secure variable. Oh, I see. So go to the GitLab project, navigate to settings, CI/CD variables, add a new variable, select the mask checkbox, and provide the value. Once you've added a secure variable, you can use it. Okay. Let's try that now. So settings, CI/CD, and variables. Attack boxes. You don't like the attack box? I mean, I do prefer my own VM, but what's nice about the attack box is if you're not on a computer with your VM, you can very quickly, still spin stuff up and work through rooms without configuring one. And for those who are really new to the field, which I know like a big strength of TryHackMe is guiding people in some of those early paths, it takes away some of that like fear or intimidation factor of spinning up a VM and allows them to dive on into it. So it does have its purpose, in my opinion. What was I doing? I get too distracted. Setting CI/CD variables. All right, do I need to go? Oh, you know what? I probably don't have permissions to do this. I'm just a little dev. I'm guessing I can't actually do this myself. So it wouldn't be in my account preferences. I bet you need to have more of an admin account. We'll just take the word for it. Note, ensure that your job scripts do not inadvertently echo or print sensitive information, even when using masked variables. Double check your scripts to avoid unintentional exposure of secrets. So access control. Limit access to CI/CD variables and logs. Only authorized viewers can view job logs and variables in GitLab. You can configure project level and group level access controls to achieve this. All right, is using environmental variables enough to protect the build secrets? No, because you can see it in the output. The conclusion, believe it or not, here we are. Based on the attacks and misconfigurations we saw in the previous task, we can understand that number one, pipeline security is a priority. Ensuring the security of your CI/CD pipeline is crucial for safeguarding code and data integrity. Number two, access controls are fundamental. Restricting access to critical branches, environments, and CI/CD variables is the first line of defense against unauthorized changes in data exposure. 3. Runner security is essential. Properly securing the machines running your GitLab runner, along with strong authentication, is a must to prevent breaches. 4. Secrets management matters. Safeguarding sensitive data such as API keys and passwords through GitLab CI/CD variables with masking and secure variables is vital. Using environmental variables is not enough. Number 5, isolate environments. Separating development and production environments minimizes the risk of compromising the latter through the former. 6, continuous vigilance. Regularly reviewing access permissions, scripts, and security configurations, combined with monitoring and alerting, ensures ongoing security. And finally, education is key. Educating your team about security best practices is essential to maintaining a robust security posture. Whew. I don't think I can actually complete this. It says, I understand CI/CD and build security. I'm like, 30% of the way there. I think I need to go through this room like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 more times. Every stream for the next month is just us going through this room. Just kidding. But I really do need to dig into this more. It's, fascinating. And the power that you have when you're able to compromise something like this in an environment. And on the blue team, the power an attacker has if you don't secure this properly is huge, right? I think it's super important to understand this. We'll go ahead and mark complete. I need to go back and fill in some of these other things myself just so I can officially complete the room. I'll have to go get those final flags. But there it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is the second video, really like the fourth live stream because of some of the mistakes I've made, but the second video in this series of working completely through the CI/CD and build security pipeline in a detailed walkthrough, mistakes included, troubleshooting included. I hope all of you found this helpful, and if you're watching this video on YouTube, thank you for taking the time to learn with me. I will see you in the next one. All right, we're done recording. I am just here live on stream with y'all. Happy to hang around for a little bit. If anyone has questions about cybersecurity, pen testing, careers, life, feel free to sound them off. Otherwise, I'm going to disconnect. Make sure I'm not missing anything on LinkedIn. If you're on LinkedIn, you'll leave a comment. I apologize if I don't respond because LinkedIn makes me refresh it. Okay, too big to fail. Or flail? Is that your name? Too big to flail? First of all, you have an awesome name. Said over on Twitch, so you have to be on a machine that has access to the dev environment. And SSH from there, I just dove in myself. Well, I mean, it depends. So generally speaking, let me share my screen. Generally speaking, GitLab and Jenkins are usually on an internal network. Sometimes you will find them internet facing, but the misconfigured ones where you can just like register an account and see secrets are going to be in an internal environment. So often you'll see this if you're doing an internal pen test. Now, an internal pen test, you'll receive VPN access to the internal environment, or maybe a low privilege Active Directory user, almost like an assumed breach scenario. And that's where this information would come really helpful, because if you could compromise GitLab or Jenkins and get RCE on a bunch of machines, you could very quickly elevate your privileges as you do both lateral and vertical movement throughout the infrastructure. Default Sec said, any pen testing companies you recommend aside from Rhino? Yeah, number one's Rhino. No, so pen testing companies I'd recommend, here are the ones that I think are good. Black Hills InfoSec is, of course, king in this world. TCM Security is also doing awesome stuff. We have MW CyberSec. They're not in the US, but they're also doing really cool things. Those are the three that come to mind that I would recommend personally. I know there's other like really massive pen testing companies, but I think the benefit you get from going with a smaller company like one of those, where it's not, hundreds of pen testers or consultants, is what you're getting. So like if you do a pen test with Rhino, We don't outsource any of our pen testing, any of our work. Like, the only people doing your pen test are the people you see on the report. One practice you'll notice in some bigger pen testing companies, I don't even know the word for it, but they'll essentially outsource some of the pen testing, but they'll put the name of their pen testers on the report. To me, that seems quite unethical. But I know, like, at Rhino, and I'm guessing at TCM and like Black Hills InfoSec, the pen testers you see on the report are the actual pen testers who did the assessment. So if you see my name on your report, I personally did your assessment. It was not outsourced to someone else to save money. And I think some of those bigger firms have that practice. Those with more experience can correct me on that. But any other questions y'all have? Otherwise, I'm going to edit these videos, get it all ready to go so I can get this stuff on YouTube for the second part of the CI/CD and build security. I'm glad I was able to knock it out. Exam Slayer said I made it to Twitch. Well, it's good to have you here. Glad you made it to Twitch. Where can we find those networks for free? What do you mean? What networks? Clarify your question. I'm not sure what networks you're talking about, Default Sec. I'll wait for you to clarify before I sign off. Oh, man. Well, I've streamed... I think Twitch told me like I'm at 30 hours or a little over 30 hours for the past month. That's in addition to working full time. Crazy. Oh, I've seen some rooms that you can pivot across some machines. Haven't come across any of those. Okay. Well, I'm not sure if all... Let's check out the ones on TryHackMe real quick. So on TryHackMe, if we go to Learn, Networks. So on TryHackMe, you have networks here. This is a free one right here. Wreath is free. Free. Subscriber only, server only, free. So any of these networks that you see on TryHackMe, generally you're doing pivoting through this stuff. It looks like Wreath is free with a 7-day streak. Pretty big network. You know, honestly, I should live stream all of Wreath sometime. That'd be a lot of fun. Like, we could do an entire series of working through this Wreath network. And just me stumbling through it live. No prep ahead of time, just diving in and seeing how we do. You have Breaching AD. These are by far the best networks to learn AD from, also created by Amoeba Man. But the Breaching Active Directory one, you can see we have multiple machines, completely free. And Never in AD, same thing, completely free. And Bandit, I haven't personally done this one. I should though. I haven't done Bandit, so I can't see the full diagram. I don't know if there's more than just these two machines, but if there are, there'll be another one that you can practice pivoting. Hopefully you find that helpful, Default Sec. So once again, if you go to TryHackMe, I'll scroll up. So if you're on your dashboard here, click Learn, and then click the Network tab. And you can get access to all these networks. Have I done this one? Hey, Lord Gucifer, I have finished the Red Team Capstone. Actually, when the Red Team Capstone came out, I think I was the first streamer to complete it. I could be wrong. I think I was, though. First or second. When the Red Team Capstone came out, TryHackMe gave a few of us permission to live stream ourselves working through it. I think it was me, Al Has Red, and Tiberius. We all completed it. And so on my YouTube channel, if you go to, that's my main platform. If you search up Tyler Ramsby on YouTube, I have an entire series, an 8-part series of me working through the Red Team Capstone. But if you're working on pivoting, I think that would be key. Let's check out Wreath real quick. Like, let's just preview it. Pivoting, working with C2, AV evasion. Yo, it's crazy that this room's free. And this person made a bunch of YouTube videos for it. Look at that, killing it. They've already made the series before I could. That's awesome. And so do you actually read a report? Let's look at this. Start this assignment with 3 targets, 1 Linux, 2 Windows. All 3 have now been fully compromised. Well done. Okay, so you actually read a report at the end. That's pretty cool. She's getting a lot of questions. Let me jump over to YouTube. I'll jump back to Twitch. Why doesn't TryHackMe have a free AWS box? I don't know. I don't work at TryHackMe. But Pwn Labs does. Go to pwnlabs.io. This website right here. I'm actually interviewing the founder and CEO of Pwn Labs.io on Monday, I think. But I have a sub to Pwn Labs.io. They have the best cloud pen testing labs that I have found on AWS, GCP, and Azure, and a lot of stuff that's completely free. So check out pwnlabs.io if you're interested in cloud stuff. Kevin said, Tyler, with your work experience, do you think those vision goggles from Apple are opening doors of vulnerabilities the average consumer doesn't understand? Probably. But I don't know for sure. I'll show you what I got, though. I'm all in on that, y'all. I got the Quest 3. Used to have the Quest 2. I spend probably half my workday every day working in the metaverse. I'll show you that real quick. It's pretty crazy. Let me pull it up. Let me pull up Brave though, because I don't want ads. So I've always been interested in VR stuff, but the Quest 2 just wasn't good enough resolution to actually work in it. But the Quest 3 has incredible resolution. Like I will spend probably 4 to 5 hours each day in a shared co-working space. So like I'm in this virtual coffee shop with other people who work from home, and I'm just sitting there doing my job. It's pretty cool. Immersed VR is what it's called. Once I find a video, I'll share my screen. Is there like a trailer? Oh, it's 2 years old. I bet there's even better things added here. I'll show you guys this trailer. This is what I use VR for the most time. Most part. It's actually a lot better quality now than it used to be. But you can kind of see this. I always have multiple screens. You can have one laptop. You can have up to 5 screens using your laptop. Except for with the Quest 3, you can also take drinks and stuff because of how the headset's designed. So like I'll do TryHackMe, Hack the Box. I'll even I'll do a bunch of stuff through here in the metaverse. It's pretty cool. And the nice thing about the Quest 3 compared to the Quest 2 is the Quest 3 has really good pass-through. So like I don't even have to take it off and I have full color. I can still use my phone and everything. Cool stuff. Not sure if Pwn Labs has course completion certificates yet, but if they don't, let's see. I'll know that many professionals need a certificate for CEUs and reimbursement. Will do, for sure. And hey, that's a live interview. Join for the live interview and we can chat about it. All right, let me go back to Twitch. How does the ranking system work in TryHackMe, and being in the top 1% would mean what? It means you're on TryHackMe all the time. I don't know. There's a lot of users on TryHackMe, but also a lot of people make accounts, I think, and then don't stick with it. Here, let me go to the rankings. But I mean, it takes consistency if you want to actually be ranked in TryHackMe. It's not automatic. Here. I'll share my screen in just a moment. I don't even know what rank I am, to be honest. Okay, yeah, I'm in the top 1%. So that took quite a while, but like, I've done a bunch of stuff. I've been using TryHackMe for quite a while. Here, let me see if I can check out. Can I see like my view profile? How do I see? Oh, here we go. Here's what I'm trying to get to. Right, so I've done 236 rooms on TryHackMe. And yeah, Amoeba Man said they have updated rankings where your account must be active with the usage for you to rank. Yeah, so then it's actually even better now because the rank doesn't include all the users that aren't active, right? But you know, I've TryHackMe is how I got started, really how I got into pen testing. I don't know, like I got a bunch of badges. Pretty active throughout the years, you can see, and have been that way for a long time. Rooms complete, like I said, 236 rooms. So yeah, it's worth it, but it's just a lot of consistency, doing this in and out every day, and focus on learning. Don't focus on the rank, 'cause I think that's a nice little added benefit, but just focus on learning and going slow and making sure you understand things. How many monitors can you create with those? I'm guessing you're talking about that immersive VR. I think you can have like 5 or 6 monitors. Too big to fail said, do I have to use OpenVPN even in the attack machine? No, the attack machine's automatically connected to the THM network. Do I use a VPS? No. Okay. Think I got through all the questions. Let me double check LinkedIn, refresh it, make sure I'm not missing anything there. Oh, you can't ping the GitLab machine? There could be a chance like your network might be bugged out. Okay, I got a few more questions. Do you think it's possible to start work in accounting, information systems, and transition to pen testing? Yeah. I was a pastor for 10 years and transitioned to pen testing. It doesn't matter what your prior career is. There's the people who try to gatekeep with you have to have this career before you can become a pen tester, or just gatekeeping. Ignore them. You can transition to pen testing from any other career that you had previously. What's my favorite programming language? I'm not a programmer. I do more scripting. So because of that, Python. Because it's easier than like Rust and C and stuff. All right, y'all. Thank you again for hanging out for the live stream. Really do appreciate you being here. I'm going to get this videos edited and putting them all together, and we'll get it uploaded on YouTube. If you haven't already, let me just draw your attention to this real quick. I'll share my screen in a moment. Here we go. If you haven't already, subscribe to me on YouTube. How many people do we have on right now? 20 and 20. We got like 40, almost 50 people watching live between the 3 platforms. So for those of you who have not subscribed to me on YouTube, this is my main platform. I mean, if you look at my consistency, I'm coming out with videos constantly, including things like CVEs that I found and how I patched them, detailed walkthroughs, shorter videos about whether or not being a pen tester. Well, that's not short. It's 44 minutes. The CVE one is short. We have one about Work Smarter coaching, one about the Red Team Challenge. So YouTube is my primary platform. If you just go to youtube.com, Tyler Ramsby, I release videos probably every other day. I do my best to be consistent. I'm at, oh my goodness, I didn't even realize this. I have hit 300 videos. Is that not insane? Now look when I started. I started 2 years ago about my degree at WGU, chilling in my living room. I didn't have my cool brick wall. And then with we should watch these just to see what this is like. All right, here's about starting on TryHackMe. This is like when I was working, I think I was working in IT support and wanted to become a pen tester, but didn't have, look, there you can see where I got my brick wall. Yeah, so anyways, in 2 years, I released 300 videos. Okay, let's watch this video. This is my first ever YouTube video before I sign off. Let's see how I did. Oh, and I'm giving myself ad money. Congratulations, Tyler.
Listen, there's a good chance somebody's trying to hack your website right now. You gotta make sure you're covered.
Oh yeah, they are.
Hey everyone, so I earned my
Quality's not that great. Let's check it out.
Hey everyone, so I earned my bachelor's degree in 7 months. And let me say it again, I earned my bachelor's degree in 7 months, right around $1,000 for the cost. I want to tell you how I did that and how you can possibly do it too. Now, the way I did that is I went through a school called WGU. Now, WGU stands for Western Governors University.
I remember when I made this video, so my office is in an unfinished basement. All right, so like this wall behind me is fake. It's just so I have a nicer backdrop. But I didn't have any place to make a video that didn't look like I was in a dungeon. So I did it in my living room. But I also had to make my video after my kids went to sleep. And so if this was 2 years ago, my kids would have been 5 and 2, so I didn't want to wake them up. So like I'm talking in the video, but I don't know if you guys can tell, I'm intentionally trying to be quiet in the video because I don't want to wake my kids up. So that's why it sounds a little bit off.
And if you're watching this video, you probably went on YouTube and you're looking for a video about WGU. What's the accreditation? Now, I work right now at a college, a smaller college, and accreditation is huge. And there's really for-profit or nonprofit. A lot of the for-profit have unique journeys. We all have unique stories. You need to make sure WGU is a good fit for you.
All right, anyways, that is my very first video I put on YouTube. Meet my international match. How about not? But yeah, in 2 years, I have hit 300 videos. I don't know how many times I've been live. Most of them are live streams. Man, fun stuff. Really do appreciate all you being on this journey with me. I know when I first started streaming, no one watched. It was kind of awkward because like I did my best to like pretend like I was talking to an audience, but I didn't really have an audience. And now when I stream, at least between the 3 platforms, it's usually anywhere from 40 to 60 people watching live, which is insane. So thank you all for finding this valuable and hanging out with me. What was your degree from WGU? Cybersecurity. So in 7 months, I'll show you guys how insane this is. You can read about it in the video. My story in a nutshell is this. I was in pastoral ministry. I have a master's of divinity. I was a pastor for 10 years. And during the COVID-19 pandemic, the church that I was leading, actually the church that I planted, was at a spot where I could tell it wasn't going to be able to support me financially for long. And I'm the sole income provider for my family. Right? So it's me and I provide for a family of 4. And even as a pastor, y'all, I only made like $30,000 to $40,000 a year and also didn't have health insurance. Like I didn't get the private jet that you see about on TV. I made like no money. Actually, we qualified for food stamps to give you some perspective. But anyways, I saw like, hey, I'm not going to be able to pay my bills. I need to figure out something else to do. And I've always been interested in IT and cybersecurity ever since I was in high school, and initially went to school for cyber and then dropped out. And long story short, I got married young, right? I had to pay bills, so school was tough for me the whole time. Every time I've gone to school, I've always been working full time. I've never had really the privilege of just focusing on school. But anyways, I saw that I needed to pivot and needed a different job, but I also really value my family. So I was like, well, I want a job where I can work from home, and cybersecurity and pen testing sounds cool, but I assume like I need to get a degree, which you don't actually need one. Now you can break into this field without one, but a degree does help. And so I looked at WGU, which is competency-based education. A lot of it is like, for a lot of people, WGU takes 4 to 6 years still to get a bachelor's degree. Very few people truly accelerate through the program. But guys, I had no other choice. Like I needed a way to provide for my family. So if we go to WGU Bachelor's Cyber, here is the program I did, the bachelor's degree in information right here. So here's the degree that I did. And the crazier thing about this is the way competency-based education works is it's not necessarily about sitting through every single class, but often if you get a certification, then you can pass out of that class. So in 7 months, not only did I get my bachelor's degree, but I got the A+, Network Plus, Security Plus, Project Plus, CYSA Plus, Pen Test Plus. I also got the CCSP, and I don't know if I ever took the SSCP, but I got the CCSP. So in 7 months, I got my bachelor's degree and all of these certifications. I got my A+ in about 3 weeks. I started the program, got my A+ in 3 weeks, Network Plus I think in 2 or 3 weeks, Security Plus 2 or 3 weeks. Like just grinded it out. And as soon as I started at school, I started applying for jobs. As soon as I got my A+, I landed my first role in help desk as IT support level 1. Believe it or not, that was only about 2.5, 3 years ago is when I started in IT at IT support level 1 with my A+, working on my bachelor's degree. So when I got my degree, I was still working full-time as a pastor. I was still leading a church, preaching and teaching every single week, leading a small staff. I was also working full-time in IT support in person. So like I was doing pastor stuff, and then Monday through Friday during a normal work schedule, I drove 30 minutes to my job to do IT support sitting in an office. And then on top of that, I was going to school and getting certification. So not only did I get my degree in 7 months, I was literally working 2 full-time jobs and got my degree. And eventually became a pen tester through the process. So it was a grind. Do not recommend it, truly. Like I ended up going through therapy during that time because I basically burnt myself out with all the things I had going on. And actually I'm in therapy now. I need to make a video about that, about the importance of therapy. And maybe we can make it right now while I'm on stream. I would just need to think about how I want to structure that video. So that's my journey in a nutshell. It was crazy. Which is also like, people are like, yo, Tyler, you're streaming all the time. Like, are you okay? I'm like, hey, y'all, this is nothing. This is nothing compared to what I did to get into the field. Now I just stream for fun, not because I have to. But generally my schedule was this, y'all. I would work at my IT job from, I actually think I started at 7:30 because it was more than 40 hours a week when I did help desk. It was 7:30 to 5. When I had any downtime, I was working on certs and stuff there. But I worked 7:30 to 5. I'd get home, hang out with my family. As soon as my family went to bed, about 7 was when my kids went to bed, I would stay up till 1 or 2 in the morning. Studying and working on sermon prep because I was a pastor. I had to preach every week. And when I preach, it's like 40 to 50 minute, like detailed, well-researched messages. So it's a lot, y'all. I did a lot. I'm glad that I can have one job now that more than provides for my family. I make well more than, the $30,000 a year I made a couple of years ago. Yeah, there is a Discord server where you can ask questions about web security. The Work Smarter one, or Rhino, has a Discord server. If you go back on my YouTube, you should be able to find it. Default Sec said, it'd be great to know that side is speed studying WG since everyone else just makes it seem like it's super cool and easy degree. So like everyone talks about accelerating at WGU, but very few people actually do. The problem is like, yeah, I'll drop in just like a Samir. The problem with acceleration is the vast majority of people who talk about how they accelerated their degree, it just seems like there's a lot because those are the ones who talk about it. You're not hearing from the majority of people who take a good 4 to 6 years to get their degree through WGU. So don't allow like stories about accelerating their degree. That is not the norm. It is not the norm to get your degree in 7 months. The benefit I had is the grinding, and I had some IT experience or knowledge beforehand, so I could grind it out. Let me grab that link to the Discord real quick. Invite people, copy. There you go, Samir. I just dropped it in chat. Do any of your prior units count? Oh, good question. Too big to fail. So here's the other strange thing about my educational journey. My first degree was an associate's in business administration. So I had an associate's degree, and then I wanted a master's of divinity, which is like theology, history, some counseling, psychology type stuff. But generally, to get a master's, you also need a bachelor's, right? But for schools, at least accredited schools, they can allow a certain number of students to a master's program who do not have a bachelor's degree if they can prove they can do master's level work. So I actually got a master's degree without a bachelor's, but what I had to do was, I think I had to write like a 20 or 30 page research paper showing that I could do master's level work. And then I had to keep a certain grade point average throughout my master's program, which took me 3 years is what a master's of divinity takes. I had to keep a certain GPA. Otherwise, if I go below that GPA, since I didn't have a bachelor's, I'd be removed from the program. So I actually went from an associate's degree to a master's and then back to a bachelor's. So now I have an associate's degree in business, a bachelor's degree in cybersecurity, and a master's degree in divinity and theology. Hopefully that answers your question. Oh, Butler has one. I'm pretty sure I don't qualify for FAFSA anymore. Is there any hope for me to go to WGU to get my degree, or would I be better off just doing Homelands and getting experience that way? I know it probably doesn't seem like much, but I hit the top 13%. Congratulations over the last few days. It depends what you want to do, Butler. Pen testers, generally speaking, you don't need a degree to be a pen tester. You'll be better off spending your money on hands-on certifications like the OSCP, PMPT, CPTS, things like that. You'll more bang for your buck doing that. But if you want to be on the blue team side of things, a degree is helpful, because in the blue team, you're often working for larger organizations such as banks and bigger institutions, and you need that bachelor's degree just to make it through the HR screening. So it depends what your end goal is. Pen testing, you don't need a degree, but you need those hands-on certs. A blue team, you're better helped by getting a bachelor's degree. All right. Now. Oh, good call. Good call, Lizzie. So Lizzie said over on Twitch, if you try to pivot away from pen testing, the degree becomes relevant again, though, especially for engineering. Yeah, good call. A lot of people hate on degrees, especially in like the pen testing world. I'm not one of those people. As you can tell, I have an associate's, bachelor's, and master's. I think education is good in all forms, whether it's certifications or degrees. The benefit of a degree, it shows that you can really persist and bring things to completion. So if you can afford to go to school, get a degree. If I would recommend a degree program, though, I wouldn't recommend what I have, which is a bachelor's in cybersecurity, just because everybody wants that and it's kind of a niche field. If you're going to get a bachelor's, I would recommend a bachelor's in computer science. I think that would be your better bet for a bachelor's. Okay, got you, Samir. I would ask in the Hack Smarter channel if you're looking for a spot to ask about pen testing or web apps. Other than that, I'm guessing, Samir, I don't have a link to it, but PortSwigger, I'm guessing PortSwigger has a Discord. PortSwigger are the ones who make Burp Suite, and they're the makers of PortSwigger Academy. So web app specific, I would see if you can find PortSwigger's Discord. Oh, yeah, good call, Lizzie. Lizzie says some places offer software engineering degrees. And actually, WGU offers software engineering degrees. Let me see if I can find it, and I'll share my screen. So at WGU, you can get a software engineering degree, and you can pick a path. You can either learn Java or C#. You choose your track, right? Java or C#, and there's a computer science degree through WGU. And I'm a big fan of WGU. I think they're awesome. I really love what they do. The actual place where I got my associate's degree from and where I worked for over a year managing their IT support center, they actually have a formal partnership with WGU. So you can start your education there and finish it at WGU. Brother said, yeah, for some reason I find breaking things is easier for me than setting up firewalls. I agree. I have my ISC and Google Coursera Intro to Cyber, but I plan on taking more certs. I have been using TCM All Access Learning Materials. TCM is awesome. Keep doing that. And Simply Cyber community has been a huge help and motivation as well. That is actually how I found your streams, was when you were on Jerry's fireside. Oh, awesome. Yeah, that was really fun being on Simply Cyber with Jerry. He's such a genuine person. You never know when it comes to like the bigger content creators, if that's even the right word. But you know, they always say never meet your heroes, right? Because they're often some of those big names. They come off great on video, but when you're with them one-on-one, they can be jerks. I've even heard that from organizations. I'm not going to name any names, but even organizations that work regularly with people like me, right, who make content for different things. They'll say like a lot of content creators are arrogant, like they're not fun to work with. So I'm always afraid when I meet some of the bigger names in the field, like Jerry or John Hammond. Those are the only, or in Heath. I guess I've also met Heath and interviewed him. But for those three people, I can say like Jerry, John Hammond, Heath Adams, all of them are very genuine individuals. How they come across like in the public really is how they are in person. All three of them are incredible human beings. And so it's been fun. At least the people I've met in like this world, they're all very helpful, all very nice, all very like ego free. Let's see. I hung around for like another 45 minutes, but it's always fun just chatting, learning from you all. Appreciate you being here. The only downside of this like genre of creating content is it's just me on the screen. If I could have all you on the screen and just learn from you, I would do it. Oh, thank you, Tony. Tony said over on YouTube, I enjoyed your presentation at Simply Cyber about mental health a few months ago. Thank you. And hey, let me share a mental health resource with all of you. I want to make a video on this. No. So I have been using Talkspace. I actually do therapy right now through them. And Talkspace is awesome. If you're interested in therapy, I would recommend this. I looked into BetterHelp. BetterHelp is another one that offers like online on-demand therapy. But the problem with BetterHelp is they do not accept insurance. You have to pay out of pocket no matter what. But Talkspace accepts insurance and gets you lined up with someone in your state or province, depending on what country that you are in. So I'm doing this individual therapy. Let me see if I can show the services. Switch back to services. Oops. They do a couple of cool things that I haven't seen before. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I can't find it, but you have a bunch of different options. Like what I do is I do messaging throughout the week. So it's like a private chat room with my therapist, and I can message them whenever I want. And then once a month, I'll do like a video call. So check this out. Like if you're not in therapy, you should be. Even if you don't feel like you need it, you should sign up for it. And you should, we all have trauma in our past that we don't deal with and we can't deal with on our own. So if you haven't done therapy, check it out. I really think it's one of the best decisions I've ever made for my own life. All right, Lizzie said, interesting enough, if you can find CTFs that are both attack and defend King of the Hill styles, incredibly fun, describing things you're breaking, then patching them live in front of you. Yeah, I agree. And so, Lizzie, I believe you're also doing Pwn Labs, aren't you? Pwn Labs IO does that. It teaches you how to break it, and then it teaches you how to fix it, at least on the cloud side. I've learned a lot through that. Default says, I truly love your style. Would glad to take a course from you since I've learned so much. If I ever make a course, y'all, it'll be free. I'd really have to sit down and think through what kind of course I would make, but I try to do everything for free. So if I ever have a course, it'll be pay what you can or donate what you can. That's kind of what I'm doing with coaching. If you haven't seen my announcement, I do one-on-one coaching now, but it's donate whatever you can and not even to me. Pick a nonprofit, pay them money, and then I'll sit down with you for a one-on-one coaching session, right? And give it all away. I don't need your money. You need your money more than I do. So keep your money in your pocket. Don't give it to me. Butler said, having someone to talk to currently at midnight. That's awesome, dude. You're doing some really cool work there. Oh, that's awesome, Lizzie. Yeah, so I know Ian, Ian over at, so if you guys don't know who Ian is when I'm saying that, Ian is the founder, CEO of Pwn Labs. He's like totally open to people from the community helping out with Pwn Labs, writing blog posts. Check it out. Vilmatic said, Tyler for president. I don't want president. Although, jeez. If it's, I might offend someone, but that's okay. Like, yo, if the presidency of 2024 is between Trump and Biden again, I'm about to throw my name in the hat. Vote Tyler, 2024. Pwn Labs, what is that again? All right, I'll show one more time. PwnLabs.io. It is sort of like TryHackMe and HackTheBox, but strictly for cloud. They have a bunch of CTFs, and they cover Azure, AWS, and GCP. Should I finish out TryHackMe Learning Paths or jump into other platforms? Totally up to you. I regularly do PwnLabs, TryHackMe, and HackTheBox. Just depends what mood I'm in. You got my vote. Guys, I don't even think I'm old enough to run for president. I'm not even old enough to be... I can't even run for president if I want to. I'm too young. I'm not 35 years old. I just turned 30, so I'm not old enough yet to be president. So maybe in 2 election cycles, I'll run for president. Is there any good methodology or resource to start with Android pen testing? I'm doing web pen testing right now, and my company wants me to do Android. Yeah, absolutely there is. I'll show it to you. So I know a lot of people are mad at Hacktricks right now. I personally haven't looked into it, so don't get offended that I'm showing off Hacktricks. But this Hacktricks has helped me a lot with both Android and iOS pen testing. So I'll drop this link here over on YouTube. Oh, it won't let me drop the link. YouTube's dumb. Just look for it, Hacktricks Android pen testing, and it will kind of walk you through some of the things to check. And there's actually a full checklist, I think. Let me back up. You can do like the full Android APK checklist where it walks you through what to check when you're doing an Android app pen test. So check some of this stuff out. Default sec. People are mad. Something with plagiarism or selling a course. I honestly don't know. You'd have to like check out the Twitterverse. All right, guys. Now I am going to call it a night. Do appreciate all the questions, but it's getting later. I need to edit these videos. Do appreciate you guys being here, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.